Listen, man, y'all need to stop talking in the middle of a movie theater because I've had a few bad experiences, but what I'm about to tell you happened about 2 years ago, and it probably tops every other thing that I've had to encounter while watching a movie at the theater. So it's 2023, me, my brother, and my friend, we go to the movies. We're all in the middle section of the theater. You know, we have solid seats, and the movie's been rolling for a little while now. We're starting to get some dialogue, starting to get some story building, starting to really get going, right? And a couple walks in, and they go to their seats, which just happens to be in the second row of the movie theater. So, like I said, they're already 20 minutes late. Now they're walking in front of everyone. Their shadows, or I guess their figures, it's showing on the theater. We can't really see what's going on entirely. So right off the bat, we're like, all right, what are these people doing? And they finally get to their seats, and it takes them forever to sit down to get their drink, their popcorn, their candy, sit it all down in their seats, and they finally get comfortable. And once they get comfortable, once they start watching the movie, the guy just decides to continuously check his phone for the next 10 minutes until finally my friend, who's sitting right next to me, decides to yell extremely loud, "Turn that shit off." The second he says that, the guy he pauses because you could tell he was moving his phone. Now he's kind of like shocked that someone actually called him out, and he puts it away. And shockingly, he didn't check it for the remainder of the movie. And the best part of that is that when my friend yelled at him to put it away, literally it was a nice quiet scene in the dialogue, and of course it just radiated his voice to make it even louder and more aggressive. So everyone thinks they want to say that, but very, very rarely does it actually happen. And my friend, I didn't know he was going to say it. It was definitely annoying me that the phone was on, but I was like, should I say something? Do I not? And obviously I didn't. And my friend, he passed his point and he let it rip, and thankfully he did, because then the rest of the movie I could actually lock in. And when this happens, there's really only two possibilities of an explanation, at least in my mind and my eyes. And option one, you either lack self-awareness, where you're just wandering and you have no idea what's going on around you, or option two is that you know better and you intend to be incredibly rude to everyone around you that's paid their money, that's made time out of their day to do this. So those are the two options that I look at it. Maybe there's a third option. Maybe I'm being a little aggressive. Maybe I'm being a little mean. I don't know. But that's the way my mind works. So obviously I'm not going to just tell this random story without telling you what movie it was. So it was The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which sounds like a random movie. It's like, oh, why would you even mind if someone was interrupting the movie? But the thing is, it's a Dracula movie, and I don't like horror movies, but for whatever reason, when it comes to vampires, specifically Dracula, I can put up with it. I can watch it. I kind of like the lore of it. But this is a very important movie when it comes to Dracula and the story of it, because obviously it's derived from the classic tale of Dracula, but the key difference is that most Dracula movies or shows, they skip over this part, and it's pretty much when Dracula is transported from Transylvania to London via the Demeter. That's the name of the ship, spoiler alert. So the entire movie just focuses on this small excerpt, unlike all the other iterations which we see. So I thought that was pretty cool, since we rarely get to see this narrative represented visually, because either in the books, well, the books might be a little different. That might be a bad example. But in any other movie, they just either skip over this scene quickly with a nice little transition, or they don't even say anything. They won't show anything. They'll just very briefly mention it in passing or in dialogue. But like in the Dracula from, I believe, the 90s with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves, that one, they do a little animation of a map that gets simulated of showing a boat and its pathway from Transylvania to London. And that is this entire movie, is that little animation expanded into an hour 30, hour 45 movie, which always gets skipped over, but it actually holds a lot of value in this story. And it shows why, when the boat shows up to London, why there's no crew, or a very little crew at least, and why London immediately gets hit with this wave of evil and destruction, it's because of what happened on the voyage, which it's very unfair to just completely skip over it. Like, you at least have to give it some justice and an opportunity to breathe and to have its own life within the story. So since I do enjoy Dracula, since I enjoy this very minuscule, small part of the story that always gets skipped over, we finally get a director that wants to bring light to it and kind of explain it in his own words. And it doesn't get ruined, but it gets a dampen on it, because I got this couple that walks in 20 minutes late, and then for the next 10 minutes they want to be disruptive. So that's a nice chunk of the movie. Obviously it was early on, so nothing crazy happened, but I still want to be engaged with what I'm watching, what I paid for. So that made me a little tight watching that. But I mean, I didn't even tell my friend to do that. He just did that because he was genuinely annoyed. So I'm thankful that he stepped up, and I'm thankful that I was able to watch this iteration of Dracula on the big screen, because it was a good movie. It wasn't amazing, but I enjoyed it. So my closing thoughts is, just think, people. Like, when you go out, just have some respect for everyone around you. And obviously, I don't know what they were going through in the day. Maybe they had a rough day. Let me try to be a nicer guy about it. But when you're at the movies, like, no one's there to talk. If it's a comedy, okay, you can laugh, you can giggle, you can say little one-liners here and there to each other. But for the most part, bro, just go to the movies and shut up. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but, like, we're here to watch. We're here to just enjoy this piece of art. So let me know what you think. Drop a comment if you have any crazy stories like that.